Hey guys, what's up and welcome to another episode of The GoodCastShow. First and foremost, Happy New Year to all of you. Hope your New Year is going great. We're already 1 week into it and hope your New Year's resolutions are going the way they should. So a lot has happened in the world of politics. I mean, this was one of the most eventful end of year, starting of the year. So many resignations, exoduses, convention, opinions. I mean, it's so hard to keep up, both locally and foreign as well. But today it's all about Malaysia. It's all about Perikatan Nasional. What's happening to them? What's their future? Will PAS and Bersatu reunite despite all their difficulties and differences? Will PAS look for a new wife in UMNO? Who knows? But we have today a return guest to answer that question. We have the amazing Mr. Ahmad Jufliz from Parti Rakyat Malaysia, as well as a first-time podcast guest, Dr. Betty Teh, who's a cardiologist, as well as an amazing political commentator. We'll be sharing a link to her Facebook page in the description below, so please check out her articles. Really amazing read. Guys, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for doing this. Happy New Year, firstly, to both of you.
Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
No worries, Doctor. Thank you for doing this. With the feud that's happening between PAS and Bersatu, how would this issue impact the trust and perception that voters have towards Perikatan Nasional?
First, PAS is probably going to take over the leadership of
They've announced it.
PN. But this leadership, where does it lead to? It doesn't mean that they can lead the whole Perikatan Nasional to, let's say, governance. So I think that the trust will then depend on where they post their electoral votes. For example, PAS will always get
The rural seats.
Malays,
Yeah.
but they will never achieve, not to say never, but it will be very difficult for them to achieve governance in the Putrajaya.
In the urban states,
Because they are very ideological. They're Islamist ideology. They are also very Malay supremacy. So they don't look at the plural content of our society. So they will not get non-Malay votes. It is very difficult for them to actually gain trust with the East Malaysian parties because of their ideology. So they themselves know that this ideology will reduce their ability. So that is why they want Bersatu. But Bersatu has now lost a lot of trust. They have lost trust. Not only we have lost trust in Bersatu, but PAS themselves have lost trust in Bersatu, I'm sure, because of the police
issue and all that.
Hence the resignation of all the key players in PN from Bersatu.
So I'll go to you then, sir. From what Doctor is saying, that it looks like PAS needs Bersatu to appear more moderate, to appeal to the different segments within the Malay vote bank. Does PAS need Bersatu?
I don't think so, personally.
Okay, you don't think so. Why?
My reason being, most of this party, basically even PAS, as what Dr. Betty said, is very ideological. But I have no worry about the ideological issue because other parties also selling their ideological view, DAP or even Amanah, as compared to our Parti Rakyat, we don't have any ideology. We are just people's base.
Yeah.
So it depends what kind of ideology we use is depending what relevance of the current situation today. PAS, as I know, of course, the ideology is Islam, but being myself as a Malay and Muslim also, within the peoples of the Malay, whether they are in the aristocrat or the middle or the lower class, I've been with them all my life, What I see basically, the way PAS promoting Islam, very exclusive way, not inclusive way.
Exclusive to whom?
For example, they are more actually selling on the ritual angle, basically.
Okay.
You see? So that's what I can see they have lacked to get more people to support. Of course, the Muslim will support basically in the eastern. You can see the result.
It's the rural seats.
The rural area, they are more ritual, sometimes a bit of mystical. It's so easy to sell Islam on that basis. But in terms of social justice, I think PAS have failed, and not just even PAS. For me, all other party politics have failed.
But that's interesting you say that. So are you saying that Perikatan Nasional without Bersatu or PAS cannot survive?
I mean, like Bersatu, because they are splinter from UMNO.
So they have that moderate.
They are more
elite
moderate.
technocrats.
In that sense. But again, whether they are moderate or not today, what I can see today, the people being disillusioned with the political party today. I divide into 6 areas now. What I can see now among the people. One is basically people who are really follow PH, the government of the day. It's normal. They got people who are really strong support. Whatever it is still PH. Same goes to PN. The opposition, whatever people will support PN, and now PN is breaking up Bersatu and PAS as the main component. And then you have another third force. It's not political, but they have another very full force. This Payung Besar, this Tun Mahathir, all that. So I can see this angle divided into these three main areas. But at the same time, I can see there's another force. Some of the NGO that I met, or even some NGI, the individual, whether they are in the media social, they are more neutral. They are not comfortable what happening today. So they have been disillusioned whether to support PN, PH or even Payung Besar, although they are Malays. And then another section also I can see now, there's a bigger section of people who are basically fan-sitter.
Yes, a lot of
You
them.
see, a lot of fan-sitter, they don't go into PH, PN or Payung Besar, or even not into the NGO or NGI. They are within themselves as an individual. I can see now, either they are waiting for the election to vote or to give a protest vote, which I doubt how much they can give a protest vote. And then there's also a lot of section people who are never go to vote, although they are voters.
There's a lot, that's
so
the
it's
concern.
between 20 to 35%. So when I calculate this is also another area that a big concern today. With the political today are not stable, geopolitics are not stable. So a lot of this section of people are now disillusioned. And the last one, the very important section, is jealousy X and Y.
The youth are the big
The
one.
youth.
Yeah.
The youth don't care about whether you are PN, PH, BN or even Payung Besar or whether you NGO, NGI. They are just working,
Okay, but on that note, Doctor, where are you? Where are you sitting in terms of the segments that Ahmad Jufliz has just named? Where do you find yourself now with all of this that's happening in recent?
As a voter?
Yeah, as a voter, where do you find yourself?
As a voter, of course, moderate.
Are you a fan-sitter? I mean, are you...
No, I'm okay. At this present moment, it's a difficult thing to say because it's so dynamic.
Yes, it is. Changing all the time.
Yeah, changing all the time, even every few months. Okay, and now UMNO is thinking of joining PAS. So it is very difficult as a voter. It's not that I'm a fan-sitter. I am still observing. So I think it's a difficult thing to say. Okay, and then we have also come to a stand where our opposition, which is PKR and DAP, has now become the government. And then we have to think, are they doing a good job governing? But if they're not doing a good job governing, who do I vote? Because I do not have an opposition that is of solid standing.
Is your doubt of the opposition, and this I'm asking specifically as a non-Malay voter, right? Is it because of PAS?
Oh, PAS is unlikely to get my vote.
Really? Why?
Why?
No, but please go on. Yeah.
Okay, PAS is unlikely to get my vote.
Okay.
I've got nothing against Islam, but like he said, it is too rigid. The fact is they're not just Muslims, but they want to governance with Islam teaching as a base. So I can't accept that.
But that's interesting because I think we've always had Islamic teachings as a base. I mean, we've always had Muslim leaders throughout from the start.
No,
and
yes.
We have Islamic banking, Islamic elements everywhere.
But I think that part may be more marketing and branding than anything else. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is governance with the Islam base is very difficult for a lot of non-Malays, even Malays, to accept.
There are groups of Malays definitely
Yes,
you can accept. But
that's
okay, I want to go back to you, sir. So is this a lack of communication on PASes to communicate their true intentions or what they want to do for all Malaysians?
I've been quietly discussing, even to some of the past leaders and their strong supporters, discussing about that. My concern is what we can agree with some of them, is it discussing about that. In fact, they're discussing with me whether they want to have another Islamic party away from PAS. But again, the most important about, of course, Islam is an ideology. Of course, most people who support Islam the Muslims support just because it's a party Islam. It's as simple as that. So I can see why they can win 45, one of the biggest members of parliament, 45 seats.
Like for example, like in Terengganu is no opposition.
Yeah, no opposition at all. But they have also managed to go into the
Kedah,
in the west.
Yeah.
Over this 45 seat. But I can see they cannot go beyond that, basically.
Why? Interesting, because you said the same thing. You said PN is entrenched. Why? Why do you say that?
I've been saying many times to my friend in past, even my friend in Payung Besar or in PNPH, I said, you see, one of the biggest problem in this country, even when I give my 70th anniversary comment, I said we have two major problems in this country, basically. One is Prime Minister have very powerful power in terms of appointing and dismissals the Chief Police Officer, anti-corruption, MSCC, the AG, even the judge. So what I'm trying to say that whoever become a Prime Minister will facing the same problem. The corruption will still continue. For example, even for the short while when Sabri become a Prime Minister, for example, so they managed to investigate him and few hundred millions there.
Yeah.
I mean, within a short period of time. So what I'm trying to say that, like Parti Rakyat, why we against all of them? Because Prime Minister is the root of corruption.
Is the root of corruption.
Yes,
That's a powerful statement to make.
Because you appoint and also can dismiss police.
I see. Okay.
You can appoint police anti-corruption. You can appoint police, even the judge. That's why I was a bit different with most of Bar Council's lawyers, you see. I said, it's not because of Anwar does not follow the 2009 this judicial commissioner. Because why? The power is still under Article 125. Anwar can still elect whoever he wants. For example, if I want to appoint a person A, and then I talk to the Agong say, why not put another person B? And then if I prepare to go to the Majlis Raja may have another C, D, E, F. And then under the JAC, you see, under the 2009, it may have another X to Z. But the power is still under Article 125 and 121B, that Anwar can still appoint whoever he wants. So, as long you are Malaysian citizen with 10 years legal service.
So that's the first problem that you say we have. But then how about the second? Because you said that there were two problems that we have.
The second problem is the financial problem, because we are living in the capitalist structure.
I see.
You see, the supply of money is controlled by Bank Negara and banks. That's why I've been saying many times, for the last 27 years, why our budget is deficit? 27 years since Mahathir time. It means that you receive $10, you spend $12. This is what? You are depending on creditors. The world today are controlled by
Creditors and the debt economy. Yeah.
So going to the down, even Malaysia, is the same thing. So the root of corruption is the bank and the Prime Minister.
Now, just to pause on that.
As simple as that.
But Dr. Betty, again, you said the same thing he said. I think in an article you talked about how PN is entrenched and they can't grow. So why do you think that they can't grow?
Okay, they can't grow because, basically PAS can grow in states. Okay, there are many Malays who resonate with their ideology, but they cannot grow in the sense to Putrajaya.
Okay.
So now we have Bersatu. Okay, Bersatu was great when they brought PAS actually to federal government. So PAS actually got a taste of power. And that's why even though there is no more trust after the police thing, they are still together, because PAS now may have realized that there's no way they can go to Putrajaya by themselves, because there's just too many of us, not just the fence-sitter, but the urbans, the non-Malays. Okay, but they're never ever going to change their ideology. They are rigid in that sense. Okay, now Bersatu has big names.
Experienced names too.
Yes, big names. Previous PM, Menteri Besar.
Yeah.
Okay, and people who are grassroots. But not like PAS. PAS has the machinery, the money. They have a very good, well-run party. Bersatu was just a spin-off. But Bersatu then cannot contain themselves. They cannot contain themselves in the sense that they cannot build it into a substantial, credible opposition. Everybody in our country, other than PKR and DAP, who have actually built an opposition, none of them has ever been opposition. You realize that? PAS has never been opposition because they always win in their state. Bersatu has never been opposition because they took over through the Sheraton
move and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So now they are opposition. They don't have the tenacity to
build further. They don't have. Where's Gerakan now? Do you think Gerakan will get Penang back for them? Never. So we need an opposition. Unfortunately, any opposition is good. Stronger opposition is better for the rakyat. But unfortunately, what is happening in PN is disappointing. They can't build and they're not in politics for the people.
Especially Bersatu, I feel.
One character that sort of popped up of this is the one and only YB Dr. Akmal Saleh, right? He's come up and all that. So I want to ask you, because he recently, he's the one who championed UMNO must unite with PAS to fight for the Malays. As a Malay, do you agree with this statement?
I basically don't agree with their point because since our Merdeka, the power given to the Malays is there already. Article 153.
Exactly, it's in the Constitution.
It's
You can't
already in
change
the
it.
Constitution.
Yeah. And who wants to?
I always discuss with my friend in terms of Article 153, is it who actually benefit among the Malays? The top Malays or the general Malays, is it? The problem is not only the top Malays actually getting the advantage. You can look into the PNB, Khazanah, Tabung Haji, Felda, Fekra, you just name it. You can see the average guy over the Malay doesn't get a lot of things from this Article 153. I've been mentioning this many times. If they are serious, they should actually put in detail who got this license, that license, all that. I mean, I'm also a protectionist as a lawyer. A lot of clients came to see me sometimes. The Malays basically come and see they got this problem. I said, why not we take legal action? But they don't want to take legal action. They prefer to get the advice and find way using a cable to solve the problem. They've been doing this for many, many years. That's why I said this is a problem. You see, as long as you are depending using cable, you cannot solve this problem. Cultural dependence, mentality subsidy is there. You got 1.2 million Malays in the government servant, you times 6 the children, you got about nearly 10 million who cannot think beyond that. So that's why I'm worried as a Malay, as a Muslim, being that. But I can give a commendable things to PAS. One thing, because PAS leader, basically, no corruption.
Very clean.
Very clean. I can salute that. The grassroots is very strong.
Yeah, that one passes.
The problem is they are not well versed into administrating the government.
That means you're saying that they are not capable to lead.
That's one of my concern, because they don't have this administrative. Because I can see a lot of comments over their MP. They comment about very parochial.
It's easy to not be corrupted when you're not in power.
No, that's true as well. Yeah, that's true as well.
But they being even in the state government, but you never heard that, you see, as compared to other leaders. You can see a lot happening, you see. The name is mentioning, within my circle, I can see the name actually come from, not from the past.
On that point, if you were PMX, just put yourself in his shoes, right? You are reading the news. Which coalition would you be more afraid of that would cause you more trouble? Is it PN or MN? Perikatan Nasional.
No, I'm only worried about East Malaysia. I hold on tight to East Malaysia.
Because they are the kingmakers, huh?
Yeah, they're kingmakers. Then whatever comes, I just put up the numbers. Everybody wants Putrajaya. Everybody wants federal. If tomorrow UMNO walks away, he still has the number.
He still has numbers.
He can ask Bersatu to join. What's the problem? As long as you have East Malaysia.
But is this type of politics healthy though?
No, of course not.
I mean, I come from the time, as we all do, right? BN and all that. Everyone stayed together for a long time. Now everyone jumping here, jumping there. Apparently, PAS has also met PMX recently.
I think the true thing is, I see PN problem now as an advantage to PMX. PMX, PKR and DAP should now dive into these areas where PN is weakened and start the grassroots and the work now, before the next election. It is a very crucial time for them to build right now. The other thing I like is, of course, DAP to grow into a multiracial, and then PKR to improve on their governance. And then these two, we can have two solid
parties in the coalition.
Yeah,
no, that's a point, because the thing about UMNO is now, he has said, PAS gila talak. So which is why he's not going to join PAS. A lot of the UMNO guys have said that's his personal opinion and all that kind of stuff, right? We know that UMNO is very important to PMX, because without UMNO, there is no Malay vehicle. That is why they have 8 portfolios in the government. Is UMNO in a position that it can really bargain with PMX to stay?
I don't think so for now, because even Zahid got a lot of things under the carpet, although some of the cases has been withdrawn. As I see, all UMNO leaders also have a lot of problems. They also have things under the carpet. So PMX can use this whenever
he wants,
basically. I just, call the AG, just investigate and all that. As I say, PM has got a lot of power. Imagine during Najib's time, I give you an example. Some people say, Najib time, they did try to against Najib, but they can't do, even Gandhi Party can't do that. They tried to actually to charge Najib, but suddenly, a lot of police came to the AG chambers, with a gun and all that. Only after he lost, then he been charged, you see. So for me, whoever become Prime Minister will be the same problem. Because the power of corridor, the politics, the corruption will be within that. Because why? When you want to be a leader, you want to win your election, you need money, right?
Yes.
So normally who give you the money during the election? The capitalists, people who got a lot of money. Not the normal people. So when they win, they have to support these people. Doesn't make a difference whoever becomes a leader.
But on that point, recently Anwar has announced that they will be tabling the motion for the 10-year term max for PMX. So are you happy with things like that? Is that removing the powers a bit?
For me, this is actually another to entrench bigger corruption.
No, I don't. I think that's a good move.
Why do you think it's a bad move?
They just passed the Akta Bekalan. Have you studied this
Akta Bekalan? No.
You see now the government have no money, okay, for example now, because budget is deficit. For last year they paying even interest 40 billion. So what now Anwar is doing, passing this Akta Bekalan, where basically he's a Minister of Finance. If you study the Akta Bekalan, everything if you want to challenge, if the tender was being rejected, the application, all that, all within the MOF. It's not to the court.
Just on that, to go, Dr. Betty, you agree. You say that the 10-year term is a good thing. Why?
No, I think any limited tender of any leader is a good thing. For example, in the US, it's
the
very
two-term.
the two-term is a good thing. If you can't do justice to your two terms, then you shouldn't be a leader.
The problem with this two-term that I have is, in the way politics is now, I feel that it's not enough time. You see, Anwar also came out with a statement saying that he needs more time to enact reform. I see both of you all are laughing, but hold on.
Brother,
give him a chance.
Brother, all these are diversion.
Okay. No, but in our current system, is before, he doesn't really have the mandate of the people, does he? So how can he be expected to enact reforms in such a short time when he's not got the mandate?
No, I think he cannot do any reforms because it's a coalition.
Exactly. So, for example, if PKR had the simple majority, for example, just like what UMNO used to do last time, right? That would be a proper evaluation of his performance. But in this current system,
Yes.
I find the 10-year thing limiting, because in a coalition, you have to appease him, appease them and all that.
Yes.
It's hard to enact reforms.
Yes, but it's too bad. The 10 years, the two terms is important.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you say that this is all diversion.
You see, of course, this Anwar be saying about this reformacy. We need a political reform, economic reform. I don't want to talk about economic reform. It's a failure. But even the political reform, they have failed. For example, they did actually suggest to have a parliament's committee to appoint the top official government servant. Have never been done. When Mahathir was being appointed at that time, leading the PH, people say, why you appoint Latifah Koya? Why you appoint Tommy Thomas? All that, is it? But Mahathir say what? This is my power. I can disregard all this reformasi thing. But this reformasi thing, okay, it's not belong to Mahathir, it's belong to Anwar. Anwar can do that. And DAP should put pressure. DAP also keep quiet over this. So what I'm trying to say there, don't talk about economic reform. Economic reform already a failure already, basically, is it? But political reform, you cannot even solve that. To make sure that there must be some parliament's committee to decide who will be the top civil servant, the MCC ke, the police ke, all that. We need that kind of reform first, at least.
So are you saying that DAP is insincere in its 6 months reform plan?
Obviously.
Are you happy with DAP?
Yeah.
I've not looked into it at all.
No, of course, I'm the PRM, I'm against all of them.
Of course, because you're
I'll never be happy
anti-capitalist.
with them.
Yeah.
I'll never be happy with all
I'm
of
not a
them.
politician per se.
Yeah.
I
So, but you have written open letters to YB Akmal. I think two, one in English as well as one in Malay.
Okay, good.
Okay, open letters. What is your issue with him? Come on, he is a captivating politician. You got to admit.
No, I have no issue. If you read my letter, it is not about him. It is how UMNO has trained everyone to be like him. Okay? That's my letter. Okay? I didn't say that, oh, you are like this, and this. I say, you are like this because this is how you were brought up. It's upbringing. An upbringing in a political party. Now, he has been brought up to learn from all his predecessors. That's how they behave in UMNO youth. Tell me an UMNO youth that is not loud. Tell me.
They were all loud. Even
That's
Najib, when he was UMNO youth, he was very loud. Yeah.
So they were brought up with that, where arrogance is power. Where accountability is never. It doesn't matter. As long as you're loud, your voice is heard. Chinese go back to China. They think that's what all the Malays want to hear. But I'm not sure about now whether the Malays want to hear that or not. Because people want to pay bills, people want food.
Money, they want food on table.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
That's what they
so
want.
much, not so much what he has to say anymore.
I think we care less about where someone prays and all that kind of stuff.
And then now he is saying that he wants to leave. He wants UMNO to leave PH and join PAS.
And fight for the people as an opposition.
But I want to ask you, who is he? Okay, he's not in the elite group. He's not in the Supreme Council. You want to leave? You personally leave. How can you bring a party that is not completely yours? You're not the leader. You don't have any seats at the top, and you want to leave with everyone? It's impossible. It's a talk that doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense to UMNO, so Zahid just let him talk. Zahid doesn't say anything. I know that Zahid's daughter said something, but Zahid will say, why should I say anything? He can talk. He can't move. He can move. The party cannot move, no matter whatever he says.
Yeah.
He has no power to move UMNO out. And UMNO and PAS has worked together before. It didn't work out. It's like remarrying somebody you just divorced. I mean, that is...
Who cheated on you, basically. PAS cheated.
Who wants to...
No, but okay, interestingly, the question here is the Malay unity among voters.
Brother, like UMNO says, they seem they are more Malay than Islam, and PAS say they are more Islam than the Malay, is it? That kind of thing.
Okay.
I've been a Malay and Islam through my life, you see. I can see they are not really Malay and Islam, basically.
Then what are they?
They are very capitalist-based, seeking for money to control power. As simple as that.
Yes.
As simple as that.
So this whole call to, bring the Malays together, the voters together and all that, is all just...
Yeah, as I said, this Article 153, last 3 weeks, I think, when Rai Sateh mentioned in meeting in Saloma, I think, Jalan Ampang, over this Malay things, talking about 153, that we are concerned about our 53, we are losing, basically. Then I said, why you are losing? You are not losing. You got so many government institutions to protect the Malay, but actually, the Malay are not losing, The capitalists are losing, basically. The Malay actually at loss, basically, because they take a lot of money from all these projects, not among the average Malay. And then they talk about the economy, and then Rai Sateh kata maybe we have to talk the economy under the special thing, under the 153. It's nothing to do with 153. It's basically the banking system. so I always come back to that because I can see the record today. You got 2.2 trillion legal tender today. You see, money in circulation is only 5%, about 156 billion. Our cash and shilling, as our supply of money. But the bank is already lending and creating money through this debt economy. It already become 2.2 trillion. So you have a legal tender, debt economy is 17 times from the real economy. And then I can see that 70% of the lending goes to the property market. It doesn't go to the real economy.
Correct.
Only 10% goes
to the SMEs and all that,
And this 6-7% of SME equivalent to 6-7% given to what? Given to credit card and personal loan, which is not collateralized. So when you look into all this structure, you can see that the rich and poor getting bigger and bigger, and we pay by the nose because inflation is still going up. For the last 20 years, I've been fighting about this riba, monetary, financial. We got certain group. One of the group, they call it MMJ, Movement for Monetary Justice. A lot of scholars, Muslim, discussing about we have the problem, same goes like the world today, how IMF, World Bank control Rothschild and so on. So what we do, we try to challenge the scholar in the Bank Negara discussing that. But they doesn't want to come forward to discuss with us. So they are actually supporting the system. If you look under Section 32 of the Akta Bank Pusat, it says that Bank Negara must ensure the monetary system must make sure the development will not make inflation. But today, it's all inflated.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a mockery having even that section of Section 32, to ensure the monetary policy must be based without any inflation,
So, okay, I mean, basically what you're saying is that it's in our system, it's a systemic problem, and all this is just a hogwash, right? All this thing about race and all that is just to sentiment rousing.
One is diversion, second is just a side effect of the main issue.
Okay, but let's go back to the issue at hand, and I think let's answer that question before we come to an end. Who should lead Perikatan Nasional, right? So I'll start with you, Dr. Betty. Who do you think should take over?
I think the question is not who should lead. I think where do they want to go? What is the destination? And if the destination is state election, winning it, then PAS should lead. But if the destination that they target is actually Putrajaya, it's impossible for PAS to lead and win and get to Putrajaya. It's not possible. But then Bersatu is not there anymore to hold this party together. It's a coalition. You need to whole
to work
thing
together, yeah.
to work together, grow together. Nobody wants to grow together. Everybody wants to get whatever they get. So Bersatu is unlikely to be able to lead them to Putrajaya. They're losing it slowly but surely. They're weakening. PAS now is leading because they have the most number of seats.
Yeah.
Okay, they have
It's
the
enough.
most number. They have the machineries. They have the grassroots. Yeah, but if you're saying to lead PN, yeah, possible. PAS will lead.
And
But
what will that do to PN? If PAS at the edge of the sword, what will that do to PN?
if PAS is happy with their ideology, winning state election, maybe add on even another state,
Looking at Selangor, Perak and all that. Yeah.
maybe. If they're happy with that, then it's fine. But if PAS really wants, because they have already tasted power in federal, right? So they're now looking. That's why Akmal is talking about joining
Muafakat and
PAS.
all
Yeah?
that, yeah.
I think it's also instigated by all this. It's not just Akmal alone. A lot of people are very impatient about the next election and getting into power with all the wrong intention, like he said. All the wrong intention. It's not for us.
Yeah, it's not for us.
It's not for us.
So back to that question then, like what I asked, who do you think should lead PN moving forward?
For me, I don't care whoever take the lead, it will be the same thing. Of course, now Hadi have to think, he have to take the lead, is it? Who else, is it?
But he said that he won't because of health reasons. I think the meeting to decide will be this month.
I don't know, maybe even the deputy Tuan Man Ibrahim, I think, will take the lead. Okay?
Okay, all right. So guys, thank you all so much for coming on. We've reached the end of this. It was really fun. Yeah, thank you so much. Hope you guys had fun. As always, guys, when I have Ahmad Jufliz here, you're going to expect some bombs, and he certainly delivered. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Betty. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah. A learning process for me.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Again, that was just a fun conversation about this issue. Again, a lot of things to discuss, and it's been very eventful. So stay tuned. We have Mr. Shamsul Saad coming on back as well to discuss Venezuela. Many, many interesting guests coming on this year, and more content coming your way. So we'll see you soon, guys. Take care. Bye.